Now that you're moving from a fixed rate charge per transaction to a percentage of the overall value of the transaction, while that does incentivise people to use cards for small payments, and that's the whole idea behind this, the difficulty is it prohibits people from using cards for large payments because we're now talking about a percentage of the overall bill. So, for example, traditionally, one of the biggest problems that we've had, or the cohort that has been slowest to move, has been the farming community from the traditional chequebook. Now, if we're going to encourage them to move over to electronic payments, if they're, let's say, buying cattle in a mart, and it's a percentage of the transaction, you're talking about a significant fee that's generated in relation to that either the farmer has to carry or the cooperative in the mart has to carry. And can we have a look at this directive before it's fully implemented, so that we're not actually introducing now a further disincentive to electronic payments where there are large figures involved, and actually forcing people to go back to the old paper-based systems and checks? Because it's my understanding now that some businesses that are dealing with large transactions, including the cooperative livestock marts, are now looking at withdrawing this particular service because of the banking fees involved.
Caps are being introduced in debit cards by Visa, which will limit the total charge on debit cards to €1. So that's additional information.
And has that kicked in already, or is it about to kick in? And is it only for the one? Is it only for the one company, or is it across the board?
Yeah, 1st of May 2016. Visa have the mass market on debit cards, so they're the only card supplier that really matters at present in the Irish market, and they're making the change effective from the 1st of May 2016.
Now, is there any mechanism that we can bring that forward from the 1st of May 2016, or is this the industry itself acting rather than us pushing them?
I mean, there's a general push, but it's the industry themselves acting in this case.
It is causing a barrier in the short term in relation to the transition from cheques over to this. You know, like, the message is going to go out from the 9th of December, and, you know, it's the Commission as a whole is encouraging people to use electronic cards and electronics transactions, and yet between now and the 1st of May 2016 there's this anomaly here in relation to large transactions.
Yeah, I mean, it's a generational thing really, in my view, and it takes a while before the tech-savvy generation develops and delivers a cashless society. I mean, I know quite a lot of people, some of them related to me, who work with cash and chequebook, and will be horrified at the idea of buying a bullock with a piece of plastic, you know. It doesn't work out that way. But, and I'm sure you know them as well. But it's a generational thing. It's the older generation. And younger people are more adaptable and they'll move on. So I don't think the effective date, as long as it's pretty quick, matters that much. It's that we're putting the new facilities in place to encourage people to avail of these systems of payment which are electronically transacted.
This doesn't arise with credit cards then, or have we the same problem with, what's the issue in relation to credit cards?
Credit cards seemingly are fixed at 0.3%, regardless of the size of the transaction. So that piece was reformed previously, if that's a reform. But it's the debit cards now, where cash is drawn immediately, or the settlement is done immediately, so that your bank account is deducted as soon as the card is transacted.